On day 5, we'll leave Three Rivers and drive back down out of the Sierra Nevadas through the Central Valley and Fresno to Yosemite National Park and Mariposa Grove before going to our hotel for the night. We leave early in the morning because we have a lot of driving to do and it's fairly overcast. There are no roads that run north-south through the Sierra Nevada mountains. They're so rugged. So we have to drive down out of the Sierra Nevada mountains into the Central Valley in Fresno and then back up into the mountains to go to Yosemite. Down in the Central Valley, we notice again all the agriculture. These are fruit trees that they're getting ready to harvest, actually. Then we pass through the area of Fresno. Some more of the Central Valley area where the agriculture is grown for the entire nation. It's going to be raining off and on throughout the trip, but we're lucky we're able to see the Mariposa Grove without it raining. And now it's time to start heading back up into the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains and climbing back up to Yosemite. Coarse gold is typical of the many small towns that are in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. So we're driving through Oakhurst and then out the other side, and there's the Sierra Sky Ranch that we're going to be staying in for a few days. We drive past it and head to Yosemite. They must have been having some kind of rally for hot rods up in Yosemite because we're going to be seeing hundreds of these cars as we drive in, but we're going to be seeing them also for the next 3 days. Small towns like Fish Camp service the tourists that are headed toward Yosemite. And now we're starting to get close to Yosemite Park. We start seeing signs that keep warning us You've got to have a pass to even drive through Yosemite now. And then as we go around the corner, we see this sign that says if your cars are backed up to here, you got a 45-minute wait to get into the gate. And now we're about to head into Yosemite National Park. As you round the corner, we come to a line of cars. Their passes are being checked. Many had to turn around here because they didn't have passes. You can get them free on the internet, but you have to go out and get them, or you can't even drive through the park, even if you want to pay the fee. They only have so many passes each day to try and keep the congestion down, but there are still thousands of people in the park, even on this off-season. And now it's time to enter the park. Yosemite was founded over 130 years ago and is the major park in California. They've been coming here and driving through for years. This park is rather large and covers a huge area. We're going to look at this small portion in the south, and now it's time for us to enter. It costs $35 per car to drive through the park even. But because a few years ago, when I turned 62, we got my senior pass, we get in free. This has saved us thousands of dollars over the last few years. Once inside the park, we head to Mariposa Grove. Most people have to park down at the bottom and ride the shuttle bus up. But one of the advantages of having a handicap placard is we can drive on up in our own car. We just have to wait for the shuttle bus to go, and then we follow it up. As we head up, we go through the area that burned this year. It only was put out a few weeks ago, and we were afraid we weren't going to be able to come up here at all, but they did reopen it about a week and a half before we got there. As you can see, the fires got very close to the grove itself. In fact, they started on one of the trails at the grove and burned away from it, fortunately. You see the grove just over there from the fire. Mariposa Grove is where Yosemite started to protect the Sequoias and expanded on. We're going to look at this area today. We'll be walking these trails, but there are miles of other trails we could have walked. And the fire started right about here. Fortunately, it burned this way rather than into the grove itself, and they were able to protect most of the trees. These are some pictures off the internet of the fire as it burned. And here along the edge of the parking lot, you can see how close it came to the grove itself. Now it's time to head into Mariposa Grove and see the giant sequoias, the ones with the red bark. They are scattered all over this area up on the hill, and we'll be looking at this section only of them. Both Deborah and I will follow this trail, which is wheelchair accessible. And then she will go on around the rest of the way while I go back down that trail to the car. You can see from this why fires start in this area, because there's so much underbrush and dead wood in the area. Fortunately, they were able to protect this area from the fire. There are many giant sequoias in this area. Let's look at a few pictures of them with their red woods. Here you can see a closer look at some of the trunks and the deeply furrowed bark. It can be up to 2 feet thick to protect it from the fires. These are young sequoias just starting off, maybe only 100 years old. You can see how they progress to the rounded top and then the broken off tops when lightning strikes them. There are various sequoias at various ages. These youngsters are probably only a few 100 years old. And here's a more mature tree with a rounded top, probably 1,000 or more years old. The fallen monarch has been here for hundreds of years. They have a natural defense against lightning, fires, drought, insects, and fungus, but severe repeated fires can weaken their foundation and erosion, and sooner or later they are toppled by a high wind or maybe a snow load. Because of the tannin in the trunk, it'll rot very slowly, and it may take 1,000 years. And here's a Douglas fir squirrel. This is about as far as I can go for now. We're going to have to start climbing hills. So you can see some of these were scorched by a fire at one time or another. Deborah will be going on up the hill and taking pictures. She'll see the grizzly giant, 209 feet tall, the 26th largest tree in the world, second largest in Yosemite, probably about 3,000 years old, about the time of David, his king in Israel. And here the bachelor and three graces, just young little trees, maybe 400 or 500 years old. Soon after Deborah gets back, it starts to rain and we get in the car and eat lunch. And then we decide that since it's raining and pouring down rather hard and most people have left the park, we're going to go on and head to our hotel. Good thing we have our car, for there are many people still waiting in line in the rain in order to catch the shuttle bus that just left and waiting on the next one. We head out of the park and head to our hotel. We'll be staying at the Sierra Sky Ranch. Here's a picture of it from the air. This is where our room will be. After settling into town, we head to Oakhurst and eat at the Smokehouse 41 barbecue. They have all different styles of smoked meats and sides. These are not what we eat. These are just some typical plates they serve. And then it's time to call day 5 to a close.